Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Ancient Warrior, and welcome back to Prepping in Free America. If you like what you hear here, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be the first kid on your block to know what craziness I'm talking about next, hit the bell icon with all, and leave comments. We're going to get back. We're going to try to step back from political commentary. So today we're going to talk about Prepping 101. What brought this subject to light for me? Sorry, something's on my glasses. And it just drives me wild. Ah, there it is. Okay. So let's talk about Prepping 101. Now, what brought this to light was I was Sunday with a couple, with another guy, and we was having supper or lunch. You know, we're early birders, so supper happens to be closer to 3 o'clock. Now, we were sitting there eating and kept hearing this conversation from the booth next to us. And I don't pay much attention, but I heard this guy asking his friend, "Do you think preparing some stuff would be a good idea?" And the other guy said, "I just don't see a reason for it." I sat there and kind of had my head down and kind of chuckled. My friend knew what I was doing. And he looked over at me and he said, "Ancient, just leave them be. They like living the way they are." And I said, "Yeah." The conversation went for about 30 minutes, and the guy directly across from me in the next booth was watching me. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just kind of shaking my head a little bit. Finally, he looks at me, and he says, "Sir, do you have a comment for us?" And my buddy looked at me and says, "Both barrels." Now let me give you a description of these guys. Mid-40s, 50s. They, little weather change around here, folks, and my nose starts running. They're mid-40s, early 50s maybe. Not in the greatest shape, but not in bad shape either. And one of them, now, I told you what the age range was. One of them got up and he was wearing a pair of pants that were so tight on him that I don't know how he was sitting there comfortably. And the other guy, he was kind of dressed like a 1950s beatnik. Had the little beret on and all this. And I said, "Yeah, I got a comment for you." And the one guy said, "Go ahead, old man. Tell us what you think we need to know." And I said, "You are not going to survive what's coming. You are going to either be in a camp or executed. And both of them, you'd have thought, by the looks they were giving me, I had 3 heads. And the one guy looked at me and says, "What makes you say that?" And I said, "Because you're not prepared." And I said, "Unless one of you is a doctor and the other one of you is a nurse or a doctor, they're going to consider you a useless eater." And he said, "Where do you come up with this thought from?" He said, "That's insane." And I said, "Have you seen a smart thing since in government in the last 50 years? So let's talk about prepping. Guys, let's start with food. The major requirement. Now, you need to stock up. Now, I don't care if you do it by poundage or calories or what. You're the only one that knows what your family will eat. You come into my house and you start going through my cabinets and stuff, and you're going to find that everything is set up for what I eat. Protein, protein, protein. Get lots of protein. Get canned meats of all shapes and sizes. Get canned meats of all shapes and sizes. I'm saying this double for a reason. And it's not for dramatic effect. Guys, protein's going to be the hardest thing to come by. One of the guys on that conversation said he and his brother go out and just start hunting. And I said, "When was the last time you shouldered a weapon?" Guy looked at me and he said, "Well, I guess I was about 17. I said, "Safe to say that was probably, 30 years ago?" He said, "Yeah, more than that." I said, "Have you ever heard of a term called diminishing returns?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "That's what your skills with a weapon is if you're not using that weapon on a regular basis. Diminishing returns." Then I looked at him and I said, "We live in a city. Just the city is 200,000 people. Then you get the 2 counties that we're attached to. You probably got another 100,000 people. So let's feature this. You and 300,000 of your closest friends are going after 40, 50 deer, maybe 100 rabbits. And I don't know how many horses will get killed. Somebody thinking they're seeing a deer and then pop the horse. Or some rancher's cow gets caught up. Then he said he'd fish. I don't know about him, but I don't want to eat any of the fish in these in-town lakes or ponds or whatever they are. Because of the runoff from the streets, especially the ones out by the medical center. That water has been found to be contaminated with medical waste. You know, folks, people just don't have a good clue. Now, how many calories do an adult male need? And I've given you this in one of my other videos. If you're a fairly active man, if you're fairly active, you need about 2,000 to 2,500 calories. If you're real active, then you need 3,000. But after last year, not many of us are real active. Got the pretty little red cup so I can have my coffee this morning. Women, unless you're pregnant, you need about 2,000 calories. If you're pregnant, 2,500. You want to make sure your baby's safe. But you also want to make sure that you're not gaining excessive amounts of weight. You know, Americans, right now, if we had to field an army with the civilians we've got, we couldn't do it. Because most Americans are overweight. I'm one of them. You know, I'm working on getting the tonnage off. But most Americans are overweight. Kids, depending on how old they are, how active they are, probably 1,000, 1,200 calories. Yep. The attack dog decided he was going to get up here. Now, folks, if you're like me, you need to keep your calorie content between 12 and 1,500. There are days I go 16, 18. But not too many. FedEx truck just pulled up and the dogs could see him, so they were raising hell about that. Guys, water. We're going to talk about water. How many gallons do you need? Now, I've heard it go from, to keep you alive, they say a gallon a day. Okay, I can live with that. But to live well, you need 5 gallons a day because you've got to be able to wash dishes, wash clothes, wash your body, and dispose of waste. And I'll live with the 5 gallons. So, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Make sure you have water filters. Either Life Straws, Sawyer Minis, or, you know, Big Berkeys, or Britas, or Aqua Pures, or what. Make sure you have a way to clean that water up. Bottles of bleach, unscented bottles of bleach. You know, you just have to do it. Security. You need to be able, you need to train, and you need to know how to use that piece of equipment. Dogs are fixing to go crazy because the squirrel's up here in the tree, and it's getting a pecan out of that tree. And he's been known to fall. But you need to train. Number 4. Let's see, we've talked about food, water, security. Let's talk about bandages. You need to have a Stop the Bleed kit, which Bear Independent, another creator here on YouTube, and his group has put together. Just put it into your search engine. Wound care kit, and it'll pop up down through there. And you need to train on how to do it. Don't depend on somebody walking up and saying, "Oh, I'm an EMT or I'm a nurse." You need to know. Be shocked at how much I know, or how little. I'm sure, some people will tell you that too. Okay, your house. Folks, you need to have your house ready and secure. And when I say ready and secure, that means if you feel like you need to board it up, board it up. But have it boarded to a degree to where you can see out, but they can't see in. Guys, I've gone a little long today, so with that being said, have a blessed day. And remember, it's better to have this stuff and not need it than need it and not have it. And if you're prepping, you're going to live free. I'm the Ancient Warrior, and we're out.